Yo, yo.
Episode what? 66.
Made in Chafford, episode 66. Was it
I love
60?
it.
Was it 65?
I would say 66.
Ah, 66. 66.
Shouts out
What's
to
up, my
Amy for coming on last
boys?
week. What's up? What are you saying? How
What's
are you,
goody?
How
King?
you feeling? How you feeling?
Hey, yo, I'm not even gonna hold you. Not good right now, man. Boris said it's lock off. Just say lockdown. Like, what is he doing?
Okay, what's the bonus tier? This is the on the levels that you don't unlock straight away. You gotta grind for it. And just
You know when you have to unlock a character and it's just it's just blank. That's how I feel. He
boy,
is the only tier I know is Thierry Henry.
I'm finished. You're dubbed. Let's introduce ourselves before we get into it. Made in Chafford podcast, as always. Top 50
Eman,
UK podcast in
bring
the
the energy. Bring the energy.
No energy, just signs.
We're never asking to bring the energy. He just doesn't do it, and he'll do it on his solo, and he'll be giving off better aliases.
Just peace and love.
We're moving in silence. All right, cool. You already know what it is. The real is back. The real is back. Two Dems, aka Demi. No, it's the other way around. This is how boss has got me doing. It's Demi, aka Two Dems. You already know what time it is. Made in
Come on.
Chafford podcast.
Come on.
47th most popular music podcast in the UK. Shouts out to Spotify for giving them facts.
Come on. You already know.
That's real shit.
Man's is here, innit? Big 2L. Cool, calm, collected. Don Corleone. You already know what it is. Man's here, innit? I'm alright. I'm actually in good spirits, all things considered, you know. I'm just laughing. I'm at a point where if you don't laugh, you're crying.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry, yeah. 100%.
Laugh now,
Laugh
cry
now,
later.
cry.
That's what I'm on now. That is what I'm on at this point.
That's a fact.
Or cry now, laugh later, fam. That's what it is, really.
Oh, God. Nah, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. He's gone and done it. Eman's not even ready. Eman's either so happy he's not introducing himself, or he's so disappointed he's not introducing himself. Calm.
For our listeners, he's just giving us the peace sign. He's not communicating with us. He's simply giving us the peace sign. Let's get into it, man. Let's start with tier 4 and the Corona update. Demi, let the people know what's going on, man.
So last night, was it? Boris announced that we will be going into tier 4. I don't even know what tier 4 is. It's basically lockdown. So essentially, it's lockdown for London, south eastern areas. Both places we spend a lot of time. London and being from the southeast, Thurrock, have both been put into tier 4. It's an absolute mazza, man. Like just before Christmas as well, he's fumbled the bag. Honest, I think that could be curtains. I know legally he has to do an election in about 3 years' time, but I think that decision could be what puts him in a split. No way. In a Christian nation as well, he's cancelled Christmas. My God. Yo, it's over.
You know what? Yeah. This is like the season finale. You know, I don't even know if it's the season finale. This almost feels like the penultimate moment. There might be one more trick up of 2020 sleeve, but this feels like.
Do you know what it really, really is? Yeah. Basically, let me tell you something. This will lead on to another topic, but let's just talk about what's currently happening at the moment, which is tier 4. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, cool. So pretty much this is what's happening, yeah. You know, right now we're recording on the 20th of December, 2020. Tomorrow's the 21st. So you know how like certain individuals in a certain demographic are supposed to get powers, but they have to be outside to receive those powers. So if we really do the science, he doesn't want anybody to have powers, because the moment people have powers, that's when they can overthrow the government. And then that's when the Illuminati can't do their job.
They should have never gave you niggas powers.
Feel me?
That's how they're going to come through.
Yeah, what superpower would you man have?
Listen, I'm trying to get that, what's Homeboy's name in X-Men? The blue
Beast.
Nah, not Beast. The other one that can poof from one place to another.
Teleportation. Yeah.
Nightcrawler.
Oh yeah, Nightcrawler's cold.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be in two places at once. You hear me? Trying to get from Essex from London to Essex in 0.2 seconds. That's gonna be my PB, personal best in that.
That'd be cold. It have to be. I don't know. I'd like to fly, but at the same time, like, man, it'll be cold up there, and it'll be kind of chilly. You get me?
I think
Very
flying's
cold.
done. You know.
You feel like what?
I feel like flying's done. It's played out.
I want to be able to manipulate elementals like fire and water and ice. That'd be cold. Like, be able to like.
Man's trying to be what Avatar in that?
Fam, the last airbender. You know what I'm saying, fam. Man's here.
I hear that. That's not a bad
That'd be
power.
cold.
What are you saying?
Be able to duplicate myself several times.
Ooh, I hear that.
Without having any physical difficulties. So basically, still be me in 3 different places. So if I need to go to the shop, buy food, I can go buy food. I can be here doing this. I can go do other stuff. I can go to work. I could be at home chilling. Then when I just want to come together and just be one individual.
But do they have free reign, or is it like a hive mind where you actually control all of them at the same time? Because if not, then one of them might rebel against the original Eman.
Might go rogue.
No, exactly. I control whatever it is I do with the other duplicate. But there is a sense of sharing the same conscious.
Okay,
so
yeah. So
they don't have their own control of their body. I am their conscious.
Got you.
Would that not be mentally taxing?
No, because it's a superpower, mate. I have to learn.
I hear that. I'm just thinking, like, if you're controlling 6 people, that could. I'm just trying to see if there could be any drawbacks.
Nah, bro, nah.
Right, I hear that.
See women with multitasking. This is me. I'm here doing this in the physical, bro. I'll be doing this there, then at the same time, be chilling. So it'd be like I'll be getting all 6 things done in the same time.
God,
time will not. Yeah, time will be saved, innit? See you boys on the 21st, man. I'm gonna be outside, just catching them rays, just
catching them rays, man.
I need that.
Yeah.
This is dumb, honestly. I can't believe that people are going with this, but I need it. I need it. At a time like this, do you know what? Legit, the way 2020 is going, I will not be surprised.
It's the season finale, bro. I keep telling you. There's one more trick up 2020 sleeve. I just don't know what it is. It might be tier 4. It might not be. Who knows?
If it's not superpowers, then it could be an electromagnetic pulse, which is an EMP. Which means that
burst everything, internet down, everything gone,
everything is done.
Yeah,
anything that you have electronically, assets, whatever, debts, well, that's the good thing. It might be cleared, but in terms of everything running currently at the moment and our dependency on just the internet,
that's the last frontier. When that gets taken from us, we're done out.
If that EMP thing happens, does that mean that would they be able to get it back up and running, or is it just that we wouldn't have internet for a day?
We'll probably come back.
No, they could, but it's too late. Because people's dependencies, people's lives. I mean, I think maybe up until I mean, if you're living in third world nations, then you can survive because that's what you do every day. Do you know what I'm saying? You go out, go to the local butcher, you go and get food, you cook it yourself with fire. Whereas here in the UK, electronic hob on, done, boom.
Yeah, except now
fridge,
that's scary hours. I'm not even
KFC.
That sounded like tier 6, fam. I don't know about that one.
Yeah. So
if the Bruno McCall comes outside your house, start saying, "Yo, who's going outside today?"
Amy, you're on TV. Please do not swear.
This bitch crazy. Nah, it's crazy, man. What are we even doing?
Did you guys anticipate another lockdown in tier 4? Did you guys see it coming?
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me because it's like hold on. Let me just go on online real quick. I'm on my phone, I'm recording on my phone, but let me just go online. It says here on the government website, so www.gov.uk guidance. Uh, that's as far as I can see guidance. But anyway, it says the status of COVID-19. As of 19th March 2020, COVID-19 is no longer considered to be a high consequence infectious disease in the UK. Right.
But surely that can't. They've got to change that then. Surely, because all I'm saying, if they're saying they're overwhelmed and that hospitals are stretched, I just can't see that being the case.
Nah, I think if you really look at the statistics and you put everything together, then I think you find out two pieces of information. One, the NHS was not funded properly. That's why we're having so much issues currently at the moment. Secondly, if you look at the entire Europe, like the entire continent of Europe and the UK, and who's the unhealthiest, you would find out that the UK is actually the highest. It's top number one, being the unhealthiest nation in terms of Europe. The United States being 10 times worse than us. Well, I don't know the statistics, but I know that it's much more times worse than us. So when it comes to deaths, our immune system, if we're an unhealthy nation, then our immune system itself would be a lot weaker. So it would be easier for COVID to do its thing and to cause more deaths. Now, statistically, COVID-19 globally, if you look at how many deaths, what's happening, even suicide is more than COVID-19. And it's got even worse because a lot of people cannot physically cope, cannot mentally cope with what's happened within the past couple of months. But forget the past couple of months, the whole entire year. So when it comes to it, you have to look at different aspects of things. So when they look at the statistics really and truly, and when you break it down, first of all, before I even say what I'm about to say, rest in peace to those people who have actually died from COVID-19. And I hope the people and their families are doing, as best as they can to cope through these bad times. But statistically, it's not that deep. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's hard to say
not to be rude.
It's
very bad for me to say it's not that deep, but like when you look at the statistics and everything that's going on. So when he says, so coming back to the question that you asked, when it comes back to the question that you asked of tier 4, it's like, what are we really doing? Because you're telling me on the government website it's not a highly infectious disease. Secondly, when you look at the statistics and where it trumps between other diseases such as cancer, such as suicide rates, so on and so forth, when it comes to the list, it's not top tier. It's not at the top of the list. You get what I'm saying?
But you got to think about it like this, man. If you think it literally came about end of last year. So if we didn't do any prevention for it, where would it be? It'd probably be higher.
Numbers,
you know what I mean? And the fact that a disease that has not existed for more than a year has climbed that high, it still warrants that kind of response. I know the procedures and the things that they've done to put us where we are have been shit. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, it's been very shocking.
Because if you compare it to what countries, New Zealand or Australia, that their prime minister was patterned, didn't it? So there's definitely human error, but I think passing off the disease as itself to be not deep is.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know how to actually say it. Like saying
I know what you're trying to say.
I know it's very bad.
I know what you're trying to say.
And I do apologize if anybody is offended. Like I do really apologize.
No, it's not even an offense thing because I know what you're trying to say. But I think the background of it, it's, if anything, it's the thing that's fucked us over more than anything is human error, fam. Like, Brojo should have really taken it seriously, and things would be so different if he had. Do you know what I mean?
It's just poor leadership, really.
Poor planning.
I know what you're saying because certain countries have like.
Bro, they're calm. They're chilling. They're balling.
Yeah, Or they
Yeah,
viewed it
because
the
you look
way
at
Eman has,
Sweden.
and they've just patterned. Yeah, that's what exactly what I'm going to say. Sweden,
Yeah, you
China,
look
them
at
man.
Sweden, you look at China. I mean, China was the first one to lock down, and then they were the first one to open up. And right now, the economy is booming. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you look at the other nations. I mean, if you look at how China is as a healthy nation, I don't know. You look at the correlation between China and the United Kingdom, you might have a completely different story. That's why it's probably more successful.
It's
You look
just
at
been
United
it's been
Kingdom,
error after error.
error after
Like,
error, and it's silliness. Like
that New
you're
Zealand
telling
they
people
didn't play.
you can't have a pub open because you're serving drinks, but you can have a pub open because you're serving drinks and food. It's like, big man, you're not really helping, are you?
Nah, not at all.
So, and then I see these certain games, and I see Matt Hancock crying on TV, fake crying on TV,
Yo,
and I'm
that was
like,
embarrassing.
so
That's what I'm saying. These men
like,
can't get re-elected. Like they just can't.
it's not even a case of just being re-elected. It's like, this is a serious thing. This is people's lives, but it's like, hang on a minute, who's telling the truth? Who's lying? And what statistically, like, what can we actually see statistically just from the facts that you've given us? And then can we determine whether this thing is really something we should take seriously or something we should actually put measures in to make sure? Because now we're in tier 4. Because the thing is, now you're playing with people's minds. You're telling people tier 2, then you're telling people, all right, cool, we're gonna go back into a tier system, tier 3. So all the gyms are open, but none of the shops are open. Okay, now we have to do a full lockdown because it's been spiked. Now, as far as I'm concerned, cases, they go up and then you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So from what I know, they've just counted cases, but they've not dismissed the cases. They have to. There's just so many issues.
Yeah.
You look at this whole thing, and I think to myself, what are we really doing?
I think it's really interesting what you said.
Some of the behaviors of Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, I'm thinking to myself, this is an absolute joke.
Yeah. I think what you said was really interesting in the sense of they're telling us one thing and then they're doing another. Or if you're saying on the website, like you've just pointed out, that it's not that deep, then why you man act it? I think the issue is, if it's not that deep, then sort it out. If that's how I feel. Like, if it wasn't that deep, you man would have had this pattern. It wouldn't be an issue, or it wouldn't be an issue to the degree that it is. Every turn, you guys are doing madness, or you're just being stupid continuously.
Yeah,
it's painful to watch.
It's the fact that you go on the website. It's the fact that you go on the website and you say it's not a highly infectious disease, right? It's not a highly contagious infectious disease, right? That's what it's actually called. But then you're putting us into tier 4, saying that the cases are going up.
So it must be a highly infectious. Like, if that's,
to be honest, mate, there's so much misinformation, information that you're giving us that just contradicts each other, and it's making me seem like what are we really doing? Do you get what I'm saying? So then when I say that COVID-19, is it really that deep, right? Not in to be like a bad mind or a situation, but I'm just questioning like all the decisions that are being made, everything that's being done, and then now you're going to tell us to go into tier 4. You're going to now give us a new tier. You're telling us we're never going to go back into a lockdown such as this ever again, but now you're putting us back into a lockdown.
Nah,
more strict lockdown.
He has to lock down in January. That will be catastrophic if he doesn't lock down in January.
We're not gonna be out until April, until a spring, boy. That's what I'm seeing, boy.
Yeah, but is this going to be a seasonal thing though? Is it going to be a situation where it's like every autumn to springtime we're in lockdown?
Potentially,
and
man.
Summer, springtime we're always outside.
Until
they've got the vaccine now. I think they're just trying to. I think maybe the best thing they can do is lock down and just say, "Yo, we have to do it." Maybe again another 3 months is painful, and then they'll just dish out the vaccine until enough people have had it. Then we can all go outside and actually be free this time. None of this going back in, or none of these restrictions, and you can only meet up with 6 people at a time. Because what's the science even behind that? Like, it makes no sense. You're telling me I meet up with 6 people. It's ridiculous. The numbers don't make sense. And then to top that, these men are saying there's a new strain of it. I'm calling BS, man.
And
just
then
put
also, like the world statistics, like there's 76 million cases currently at the moment, but there's 1.6 million people that are dead. And they're saying there's 46 million people that have recovered. This is live, like we're recording on the 20th of December, and I'm just reading this as from the 20th of December. So looking at that information, it's like, you're telling me out of everybody, so basically 76 million cases currently at the moment. So there's 30 million pending to find out if they are survivors or not survivors. 1 million people have died, 1.6 million people have died, but 46 million people have recovered. My next question is there a real need for a vaccine? Is there a real need for a vaccine? Because if 46 million people survive, and then there's 1.6 million people who have died, right? I have to really look at that information and say, okay, is there really a need for a vaccine to give it to everybody?
I don't think to everybody. I think it's definitely needed for people who are high risk. So people who
vulnerable,
who are number one, who are dying the most in that demographic. So I don't know, 65 and above, they should take it. And the people who have health issues, so like I think people who have asthma are more likely to suffer from it. So people basically who are at higher risk, I think it makes sense for them to have it. And then for the people who don't fall into that category, if anything, we should be allowed to go out, because it's far less likely we're going to get it, number one. And number two, our immune systems are built to be able to withstand it way more likely than the people who are in those categories.
That's an interesting point, really. Should those who can't hack it be forced to stay inside, and then at least the rest of us should potentially be allowed to get on with our business?
I think people should be given the choice. I think people should be given the choice. I understand people's skepticism. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an advocate for whatever side, because I it's truly one of those things. Because I am technically high risk. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's also something I look at it with a certain point of view. But I do think it will be silly for us to just drop everything and go outside. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it does exist. Do you know what I'm saying? And I do think we need to be a bit more pragmatic about it. It's just the approach is what I see the biggest flaw in, personally. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to develop a vaccine. I don't think there's anything wrong with people trying to be cautious, because a lot of people have died in a small period of time. Let's say if there was a war and we lost 1.6 million people in 365 days, everybody would be losing their mind. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's just...
I think this goes back to the point.
Approach.
It's just been, the approach. But like, if someone asks me, do you trust this government to pattern it and sort everything out? No.
They got more lies in the tuck, man. They're just waiting to tell us them, bro.
Honestly, again, I just can't see how if people can even vote for them next time around, that I will be shocked. And I get that people are saying, you know what? I don't know if any government could have dealt with this, but at every turn, it's just been abysmal. Poor decision after poor decision.
How has the situation affected you guys personally? What was your plans going to be for Christmas time? Were you guys going to see your family and that?
Just see family.
I was trying to get hench, man. With my lie, man.
Gym is finished, bro. I've already given up, man. Gym's done.
Yesterday I went to the gym happy. I'm not
gonna bother, man. I can't be asked. I'm not gonna get any gains. It doesn't work for me. I've kind of just come to that conclusion. Personally, it just doesn't work, and I don't have the motivation to do it at home either.
Yeah, I get that. It's just anything that people had planned, it's got to be locked off. I wouldn't even go. Like normally, I'd go see out of family as well, not just my immediate. But it's over.
But Christmas Day, you guys, what are you doing for Christmas Day?
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be back in Essex. That's what I was telling you earlier.
I think the day itself is relaxed. I think. So
then I'm stupid for that. That's poor as well. What even is that?
It was initially supposed to be that 5-day window, but now they've just made it a day. So
listen, bruv, this is what I can say. If you're gonna say something, say it with your chest. Like, if you're gonna say something, say it with your chest. So if lockdown is lockdown, then say lockdown is lockdown. Don't say, oh yeah, Christmas Day is relaxed. Because what if the numbers spike because of Christmas Day? Well, what happened with Eat Out to Help Out? You told
And then
everybody,
they blamed us.
and then they turn around and said blame us. So it's like, if you're gonna say something, just say it with your chest. Don't be playing. Don't be dilly-dallying. Just say, right, we messed up. It's either we messed up and we apologize, and mate, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take precautions to actually make sure that everything's okay, so that if anything does happen, like another spike of deaths, then we'll know what to do next. But currently, at the moment, the information that we received is not that deep. Cool. We apologize. Go out, do your thing. Now, or you can say, nah, bruv, this is really bad. It's really dangerous. Tier 4, lockdown, no Christmas, no New Year's Day. Stay home. That's it.
Mm.
And if you're going to say something, say it within the hour. You're going to say, cool, we're going to go into tier 4 within the next 2 hours, not 00.001. It's like, bruv. So you mean if I'm outside 11:59, yesterday, I'm safe. But if I'm not out, if I'm outside by 12:02, that's when it's peak. It's like, stop playing us around, man. Stop, bruv, stop playing us around, man. This is long. It's really long. Because
Started the week in tier 2. Started the week in tier 2, ended the week in tier 4, fam.
And you know what's crazy? I even spoke to the lady in the gym. Yeah, she was like, yeah. Listen, I'm emailing everybody to say the gym's not gonna lock down because we're in tier 3, and it's absolutely fine. Then Saturday comes, I'm cleaning the yard. My brother's laughing. Like, what do you mean you're laughing for? He's like, yeah, we're going into another tier. I'm like,
impossible.
It's all crazy now.
We move, lads. We move.
We
man.
have to. Yeah. Next topic. This is just going to make us mad.
Next topic is about Lil Wayne. So there are reports that he has sold. Well, let me give you a backstory. There was a report 2 weeks ago saying that he had sold his catalog for 100 million to Universal Music Group, which raised a couple eyebrows because you would imagine that someone of Lil Wayne's catalog would be worth more than that. I think there was a deal for Bob Dylan, who his catalog is obviously massive, but it cost Universal about 300 mil, which makes relative sense when you think about his music. But then a report came out last week clarifying, saying that he sold all of Young Money's catalog to Universal Music for 100 million. 100 million.
What?
Now,
that's sickening.
Yo, if this is true,
I'd vomit.
Then someone needs to fight. Somebody needs to fight.
Someone's going to jail. It can't be the whole of Young Money, man.
In
Nicki and Drake's alone, like, what we? I mean, you can even include Tiger if you want. Nah.
In the wise words of Sir Pusha T. In the wise words of Sir Pusha T, you're signed to one nigga, they're signed to 3 niggas, they're signed to another nigga. Now that's bad luck. If this is true, then it's a W to me. Are you bugging?
I can't see how they got up to 100 million.
Sorry?
My question is, why is Wayne taking that? Like, he might be in financial, having financial issues we don't know about, because anyone could tell you that that's not his worth. And then on top of that, if he's giving away Young Money, it doesn't make oh man, that just does not make sense to me.
Yeah. So firstly, I'll talk about if he sold his one, and then I'll talk about if he sold Young Money and his one together. But firstly, he's going to prison for 10 years for a gun charge. So, and secondly, he didn't consult his lawyer in terms of the contract of what he's selling. So 100 million to him might seem like a great deal because he's going to prison and he's not going to see any money, and he just needs his money to be flipped so that by the time he comes back, he'll have something to play with, he'll have children to take care of, family to take care of, and himself to take care of. Do you get what I'm saying? So let's just push that out of the way, and that could be the biggest motivation for his decision to sell it for 100 mil. Now, if
I've
he's
already
selling
given
his
consensus
catalog,
that's the case.
if he's selling his catalog for 100 mil, he flopped, right? Because Kanye West's catalog, I don't know if it's worth it's worth 3 to 500 million, I think. I'm assuming, right? Because he made a complete entire run about him trying to buy his catalog, but they're not allowing him to buy his catalog for whatever reason. Boom, boom, boom. So then he started pissing in the toilet with his Grammys with it, and that's a whole nother story. So if we're to compare Kanye West to Lil Wayne, I would say in the ballpark of 300 million to 400 million. That's how much Lil Wayne is actually worth in terms of his catalog. So him selling it for 100 million, that's a cheap deal. To sell Young Money and Lil Wayne's, fam.
If I'm Drake, I am on the.
I'm swinging.
Listen, forget Drake.
Arms out.
Forget
Arms
Nicki
out.
Minaj. If I am Birdman, I'm coming to kill my son right now, big man. Because if you deep it, that's what they were beefing about. Because obviously he didn't pay him for several different things. Birdman didn't pay Lil Wayne for several different things. And then, because that situation occurred, they said, all right, cool, give me the catalog, give me the rights to Young Money, everything. I need all of my shit back. Yeah, I need everything back. Cool. Moving forward, you're now going to sell it for 100 million.
So what I think the problem is, or think the background that people don't know, is that Drake and Nicki are no longer technically on Young Money. So I think
and they haven't been for a while.
A couple of years,
yeah.
So they both done their own deals with Universal. So I think up until a certain year, I'm going to say 2017 or 2018 onwards till now, those albums, royalties, everything associated with it goes directly to them. But everything before that, they still obviously get their royalties and their distribution for it, but they don't get.
But even in that period, there's still big albums there.
Yeah, of course. I'm not even going to try to sweeten it. But the masters themselves do not belong to them. It belongs to Young Money, which obviously there's a whole dispute about Birdman and whatever. I think the situation itself, I actually don't think it's true. I'd refuse to believe that a deal of that stature will be commissioned, because I know there seems to be a bit of like a trend in the industry right now where a lot of artists are selling their masters to.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
I
had a conversation with.
I
had a discussion with what's his name, Rich, and basically he was like, "Yeah, I don't know." I told him about. I don't know what's going on. Can you explain that in a bit more detail?
Essentially, artists are trying to get money how they can. Obviously it's COVID right now, so things are a bit tight, and a lot of artists can't exactly tour, make merch, all that type of stuff. So a good way for people to make money long term is to sell their publishing or their masters. If you sell your publishing, then essentially all the money goes to the owners of the publishing. So if, let's say I'm Lil Wayne, I have my publishing, I sell it to Universal. Universal from now on will eat off of my publishing, but then they give me one massive lump sum to compensate for it. So instead of having the residuals every month that you'd usually see, I'm just going to get this one fat check. But obviously the problem with that is you never know what can happen with your music. One day, TikTok can just take one of your songs and blow it up, and then they'll get like 100 million check for that song, and you've just sold a whole fucking.
That's
you know what I mean? So it's a very risky game to play. You can do it. Some people, like someone like Bob Dylan, it makes sense. And man's in his 60s, whatever. I don't even know if he's still alive. If he is, I don't know what he's on. But it makes sense, innit? He's an old man. Man's chilling. Man's not making music no more. 300 million. Thank you very much. Estate is happy. I'm happy. You're someone like Wayne, who's still in his 30s, and you're trying to make the and the situation that Eman's explained gave it a bit more context. It makes sense because his situation's slightly different. But with all the problems that come, the problems that come with Young Money as well, that 100 million pie is getting divided. I know he's getting sued by one of his lawyers or something like that for 20 million or something. So he's going to hold something. Birdman's going to hold a little piece as well. It's just, I just hope it's not true.
I think, yeah. I mean, even still, I don't mind. Like, I do you, but I think it's more because we know what Lil Wayne is worth and what he's given to the game. I don't think that makes any sense. He's worth more than 100 million. I don't think he's getting his worth. That's why I don't mind if he sells it. Like, we get it. It's tough times at the moment. Get it how you live, but it's just he's not getting his worth. That's my real issue with it. And then if he's selling Young Money as a whole, then he's been robbed. I don't even care about the whole, even with the whole keeping in mind of him going to jail thing. I'm not even hearing that. If it's Young Money as well, he needs to have a real talk with someone, because someone has to go to jail for that.
It's him. That's why they arrested him, fam. Nah, it's when I read the headline, I had to like double take just to actually deep it. There's ways I can find out, so I'll let you guys know. But I refuse to believe it's true. I'm very
intrigued by this story.
I refuse to believe it's true.
Definitely, man.
Craziness.
That is barbaric. He's an idiot. Everyone involved is an idiot, in my opinion. Lil Wayne's catalog already is worth more than that. But then when you're putting Young Money on there, listen, I'm not even hearing it, man.
No, but he made the decision. He made the decision by himself. No lawyers, no nothing. He went to them and said, "Yo, apparently this is the case. If he sold everything for 100 million, then he sold everything for 100 million. But in terms of his own catalog as itself, it was a bargain for Universal. I would say it's not a bad like it's not a bad deal. It's just that it's a bargain. Now, if I'm somebody like Drake, who currently at the moment is sitting on a net worth of God knows how much, and I know I can buy my masters back from Lil Wayne, he should have spoken to me first. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm Drake, Lil Wayne should have called me up and said, "Joe, I got masters, I need P's, like try and pattern me up."
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And he probably would have made two moves and said, "All right, cool, listen, let's do this, let's do that. And then give that to Nicki, and then I'll take my bit, and then you just sell whatever you have to Universal, and then you make it happen." Because he didn't speak to anybody.
It's a mess over there.
Yeah.
It's been a mess for a minute now, so I cannot really say I'm not surprised. But we'll see what the actual figure is.
I'm intrigued by the story, very as well, I must
add. Next topic. There seems to be a rollout. Well, loads of TV streaming services have been doing big rollouts. HBO Max, Marvel, Star Wars, etc., etc. Just want to know what you guys' thoughts and opinions are on the rollouts and the slates that they've got
Marvel
coming up.
really said, "Yo, we're just gonna make him black." When it came to Star-Lord. I'm intrigued. They've got my attention. They've had my attention for a long time. Some of the shows that they're looking to put out look very interesting. WandaVision, I'm very excited for, because it looks at, they're trying something different and it doesn't follow the Marvel formula. The Marvel films you tend to forget are the ones that are very safe and by the book. Films like Ant-Man 2, I'm trying to think of another film within that realm, but them ones that you can just, there's a formula to it and that's it. Films like Captain America 1. So WandaVision's got my attention. They're dropping Loki as well. Again, all of this seems like Marvel's trying to ting. I'm very excited. I don't know if it will all come off, but I'm very excited to see what they do. Again, the one I'm least interested in is probably Falcon and Winter Soldier. But the only reason I'm not is because, again, I feel like it just follows the Marvel formula, which we've seen already. But Marvel came out swinging at that, like, road.
They saw what HBO said and said, "You know what, that's cute, but I bet I got something for you in the tuck.
You can hold this."
Do you know what I think? I think I'm excited, but at the same time, I feel like it might be the time for my interest to peak. As in, I don't see myself being as invested as I was for the first 3 phases, because
I get that.
I feel like they're taking an approach where they're trying to appeal to everybody. And where there's so many new shows, I don't see myself watching all of them. Do you know what I'm
it'll be
saying?
impossible. But this is going to be the first time, like, because we know how important it is to keep up with the story.
I know,
So
but
this could be the first
on my life, I can't watch. With TV shows, I can't commit to too many. So I already
No,
knew.
I completely get that. But that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. That's why it is also a bit of a risk because I can't seriously see myself watching Miss Marvel. I'm open to being happily surprised, but what they're saying is all of this is going to feed into the films as well. So I could go to the cinema for the first time and watch a Marvel film and be back.
I might have to firm it because I don't know. Like with movies, it's calm, innit? Like I can sit down and watch an Ant-Man, even though I know I don't really mess with it that much. I can sit down and watch a Captain Marvel because I know I don't mess with it that much, but I know it ties into the deeper narrative. But if you're asking me to commit to like a 6 or 7 episodes of I don't know, She-Hulk or what's the other one that they've got? There's another one which I just don't think I'm gonna watch, and it's just like, am I really gonna do that? Probably not. But it's interesting, isn't it? TV seems to be what they're looking to focus on more than anything.
And it looks very interesting. I mean, shouts out to Disney Plus. I'm on the last episode of The Mandalorian, and I think what they managed to do, and we don't. This has always been the best TV shows where it feels like they put movie money into it. Whenever I watch an episode of The Mandalorian, it doesn't feel cheap. It feels like they've given it 110%. And I think if they can apply that to the TV shows going forward, my interest is through the roof already. You know, I think they've got a lot. They've done a lot of good, and I mean, I'm intrigued to see what they do with Star Wars.
But that's where the waters get muddy for me, because I don't know if I'm not sure if you saw the slate either, Eman. They're also making movies now for everything. So they're making TV shows for everything. So they're making a TV show for Buzz Lightyear. They're making a TV show for Groot. They're making a TV show for who's the other one that they're making a TV show for? They're just doing. I think they're almost doing too much.
They just, you know what it is? They need content, and I think that because at the moment that's what Disney Plus is actually not content. They need new content. And at the moment, that's what Disney Plus is lacking. That's the exact same reason HBO Max have done what they've done because all of these streaming platforms need content in order to catch up with Netflix.
Disney needs two things. They need a focus group and they need data. That's what they need. Because if you're just going to make everything technically speaking, you do need to entertain a lot of people, especially like parents, young adults, the teenagers as well. You do need to give that sort of demographic to. You need to actually give it to sort of all the demographics, so that you can at least entertain that and then keep retention. That's very important. Is retention. If you have retention, then you can keep the monthly payments coming in. You can keep the income coming in. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, if they don't have data to say what is in right now, because Disney, they can't do the whole wishy-washy superhero, princess, prince sort of content. They can't keep doing that. They need to produce other sets of content.
But what I'm saying is, they need. So what you're saying, I think we're on the same page. Either way, it doesn't matter. They need new content because these streaming platforms at the moment, Disney Plus, HBO Max, they're not really that worth it. It's great that they've got a great catalog and there's stuff that I can go back to that I've enjoyed previously, but they need new things to keep people excited, or at least to keep people wanting to come back. Because at the moment, I don't know if Disney Plus is really that worth it. Thank goodness it's cheap, but if you're asking me to pay Netflix prices, at least with Netflix, I know they're always trying to ting. It might not always be good, but they're continually bringing out new content, even through the pandemic. So I think that's the exact same thing as that's what Disney Plus wants to try and get to. They want to be in a position where they're continually rolling out new content to keep people excited, and they've got the IPs to do it. It's just a case of getting those products or IPs moving.
I just like to see new stuff. I think I'm a Eman. I think I just like to see new original stuff because I think it's one thing having enough stuff for people to watch, but then there's another thing just milking shit. Because to be honest, we didn't even need it. We didn't need a Toy Story 3. We didn't even need a Toy Story 4. Why do we have a Buzz? I don't know, a Buzz Lightyear, whatever that is. Like, I know it's not for me, and there's a demographic for it, but I just wish they could just stop relying too much on the catalog and begin to empower new ideas. Do you get me?
That's actually really interesting. I get what you're saying. Yeah, but them men aren't even trying anything. They're literally relying on the stuff that's worked.
That's why I like
the dangerous game to play.
That's why the Marvel slate to me, I was excited because it's all stuff that haven't actually been done yet. But then when you look at the flipping Disney one, it's like, bruh, like, what are you man trying to do here? Like, you're just making movies about everything.
That Star Wars one as well it looked dumb, man. There were certain things in there that I said, yo, this ain't gonna work. And they tried to do they're trying to say Indiana Jones 5 is coming. I said, yeah.
Let him rest.
For real.
He's tired.
What's he gonna be doing?
He's raided bare tombs. He's raided bare arcs. Let man rest.
He might go into Wakanda. You never know. He might go into Wakanda. You never actually know. That's actually a shout.
That's actually not a bad idea. That would be interesting.
That would be very interesting. But I think what is really interesting is the fact that Amazon is competing as well. Not just with streaming, like streaming music now, they're competing with their content. So when it comes to it, you put two and two together. Now they've produced and they're almost finalized Coming to America too. So Disney Plus, they have to step up their game.
And I think that's what that presentation was basically saying, yo, we've been out for a year, probably would have had more new content on there already, but due to the pandemic, obviously that's made things tricky. But yeah, I think I completely agree with you. It's them trying to say, yo, we're trying to get on the board, and I don't know. Do you know what kind of shocks me though? The fact that I thought Disney are going to announce Black Widow's going to Disney Plus, but still they're still trying to make that come out in the cinema.
I'm happy with that because I think the movie still needs to have that level of exclusivity. Personally, hopefully everything's all right by then. But I think the moment they put those MCU movies on there, is them saying that, yo, this whole strategy we've done in the past goes out the window. I don't see them sacrifice. They make too much money for them to do that. I don't see them sacrificing that. That is $1 billion franchise, and to put it on Disney Plus, you're not touching that money, regardless of whether or not.
But they could do the same thing as Mulan.
They didn't make peace for Mulan, did they? Did they get a lot of money for that?
Oh yeah, it was they try to say £30, and then it's dumb. They try to say
everybody just waited.
You can have exclusive. So where am I paying £30?
Everybody just waited, man. Everybody just like, nah, forget that. But you know what they can do? They can just throw it on Sky. They can throw it on Sky. They can throw it on all streaming platforms, right? And then just short it for like the low price of like, let's say £5.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have it for only 30 days. You're just gonna rent the film. That's the same thing that what YouTube is doing, Sky is doing. Bro, I mean, you don't have to wait for the cinema. There's different ways.
Put lock and chill.
Yeah, boy. Once it touches those digital streets, you know, 1, 2, 3 movies are on their heads.
Man. When it touches there, I'm enjoying.
We're eating.
Eat for real. Yo, what was I gonna say? You heard about cinemas that obviously day and date releases. So anything that goes on HBO Max, cinemas are looking into the idea about making the tickets for those films at $3.99 just to compete.
Boy,
just to compete. What, in tier 4 scheme?
No, I'm just saying. Just in general, when those films start getting rolled out.
Your boss, can I have a ice blast on the side of Corona, please? Yeah. Safe.
Now, I think it's more for when people can go back, because obviously they're all thinking 2021, certain things to be sorted. So if a film comes out on HBO Max, they're saying cinemas, in order to compete, will drop the price of those tickets. I'm interested to see what happens to the movie industry, in particular the theatres, because I don't know. I said they could be done out here.
Remember the time when they used to try and charge people £12 for a ticket at View Cinema?
They tried to jig
Then for
us.
some reason, they just turned around and said, you know what, we're going to do £5.
It's because they knew, bro.
Sweet.
They were trying to finesse us.
They knew they were going down. So now that COVID has happened and cinema in sight has been open for a while, it's time for them to pack up their bags and leave. They are the new blockbuster. This is the new industrial revolution, mate. I mean, you have to understand.
The revolution will not be televised.
Well, it will be televised.
It's being televised, mate.
Event revolution will be televised, bro. It's crazy.
And they didn't move with it. I mean, Odeon, they tried their best to do the monthly plan where you can pay monthly and then you can watch any film anytime. But now it's just like,
it's a myth.
No, I think it's costed them, man, because that's an industry that you'd kind of hate to see to go, because there's a lot of positive memories that even we as friends have. You know, one of my favorite memories is Eman saying, "You know what, fun me, man. I'm gonna watch Transporter. You man can go do your E1."
It wasn't Transporter, it's Mechanic.
We just say, "You man, I'll shout you man in a bit." I went to the cinema on his own.
No, because you man were taking way too long. No. Let's clarify that story. You man were taking too long. I called you, man. I said, come to the cinema now. It's like, I don't think we can. Even after you bought a ticket, you man fully said we can't come in. So it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna sit and watch the film. It's like, come with us. Let's walk home. Nah, I'm sitting down watching the film. So I watched it, and it was a brilliant film. You man missed out. Simple.
What did we watch?
That's up again. Mechanic.
What did we watch?
I thought we didn't get in because we weren't 15, and Eman was.
I can't remember. I thought
that was the people.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure we watched something else while
you should have just come in with me, fam.
I'm sure we watched the movie while he watched the Mechanic.
We should have. If it was a good film, I was under the impression them man were. So I can't remember who was there, but people were like, "Yo, we're not 15, so we can't get into this." So I was just on the fringes, like, if we don't watch it, we don't watch it. Next thing I hear,
you should have bust your way through, man. You should bust your way through. He tried to say to me, I'm not 15. I said, all right, then prove it. I was like, oh, well, you have to have an ID. I said, we don't have ID at 15. So how can you tell me I'm not 15? I'm 15. Walk straight through. Got the seat.
Tricky one. 15 is a dumb number, you know, now that I think about it. Because
how do you prove it?
I didn't even think about it.
You can't prove it. Like, they're still trying to tell people, prove that you're 15. How can you prove that you're 15? There is no identification in the UK to prove that you're 15. So how does that make sense?
That's a dumb number for films, you know. Even 12. How are you going to tell me I'm not 12?
Yeah, no, for real, no. And that's the time where, like, your body is now transitioning from childhood to teenagehood. So your skin might be fresh, clean, you're still short, whatever. And then a couple years later, that's when you're tall, your voice breaks, you start getting spots. Like, for someone to say that you're not 15, for someone to say that you're not 12, some people are stupid, man. I swear down.
Absolutely bugging.
Yeah, they're very
I never thought about that. That it is, man. And then even on top of that, if someone looks older but they're young, how can you prove that as well? You know, people getting denied bus passes.
Man, looking at you,
I need a child ticket.
You're at least 30. Like,
many times I was questioned. I was like, yo, yeah, prove that you're 15. Do you carry identification with you? No, I don't carry identification with me. I'm a child. Let me go on the train because I have a child ticket. Oh yeah, but you're not wearing school uniform. I'm wearing work experience uniform, mate. Like, that's what we're supposed to wear. And it's,
I guess their rebuttal would be, why do I take my passport to the cinema? That's dumb. That's like when they would say, what film was it? Like, we all wanted to see it. We got in, it might have been another hood or something dumb.
I've done that before, yeah.
We just have to bust it, man. You just have to roll through.
I think this was for adulthood, I think. Possibly. Because I remember my dad had to come and drive and then talk to the manager and say, listen, you can never bother my son again. I bought the passport here. I've proven that this guy is this age. Can you not do this again? And can you remember his face? And I was like, yeah.
I respect that.
Because sometimes it's just being stupid. Sometimes they're really being stupid. Like you can't allow a 12-year-old and an 18. I understand that, yeah. Especially when the kid looks mad young. But if he's 15, he's 15. Like
More time, you wouldn't even try to force your way into 15 if you weren't 15. Like the ag just ain't worth it, if that makes sense.
If you're 15, you're 15, man. But let's get off with 15-year-olds, because
what are you not talking about, man? This is not. I think that's it, really. There's another topic, but I don't think it's even worth talking about, man. It's not even that deep. I think.
But what is it about? What's it about?
I said Clubhouse versus Twitter, but it was.
What is Clubhouse? Because I've heard a lot about Clubhouse, but I'm not.
I'll keep it short. I don't even want us to go into it because we got other stuff to do. But long story short, Clubhouse is a app where people get invited on there, and you can enter a room, and within these rooms, you have a couple people who are elected to speak, so you can speak through your mic. You don't have to have your camera on, but you can have like conversations about stuff. Some rooms are really good. You have very insightful conversations, learn about industries, learn about literally anything. But then there's some stupid rooms where you go in there and it's just absolute nonsense. So, for example, there was a room where I think people were moaning to win a chance to win out $300. So there was like celebrities in there moaning.
Okay.
Just who's moaning?
Is this the same app that like a bunch of mine were in a group where pretty much everybody was a kettle?
Yeah.
And then man was crying on the fact that he transitioned from a toilet to a kettle.
Yeah, from what I've gathered, and I've not been on there much because it's definitely an app that you do know damn well it's nothing that I would ever indulge in. But from what I've gathered from that app is basically all the shit. From what I've seen, not all of it is like this. It's just a generalization, but all the shit and negative aspects of Twitter. So, the typical conversation, should a guy pay? Is there, all the black Twitter conversations you get are on there. And there's loads of like wars between the UK and the US and just like all that type of shit. And it's just like, ugh, I'm not really, really here for this. But what I was going to say is that Twitter are looking to create a new thing called Spaces. So essentially it's going to be like Clubhouse, but on Twitter.
I think it's a good idea. I just think it needs to be better. Like, there's some dumb conversations going on.
It's not for me, man.
That just should be cut out.
It's not for me. But I do think it will be good on Twitter because people like to comment alongside the stuff that's going on. So people would often use Clubhouse, but then tweet on Twitter about what's going on. So to combine the two.
How are companies getting finesse like that? Like, how can that be a thing? Like, how can Twitter just take their idea?
Dog eat dog, my friend. When Snapchat did their whole thing and Facebook were like, yo, come join us. And they said, nah. They said, aight, you stay there. And then they went to Instagram and did their thing, innit? So
do you think Snap must regret rejecting that?
Probably not, because they still exist and young people still very frequently use Snapchat. So it was an L, but it wasn't as big an L as we might have thought it to be. Because it's still very prevalent. It's just, it happens so much. You look at, there's loads of examples of, these big tech companies buying the small company and, aiding the cycle. But I do think it's going to be the next thing that happens for sure.
Well, I think it's going to stop. It's going to stop soon. Because there's conversations where, like in the United States currently at the moment, where Facebook is too powerful and it's going against the competition rules. So they're applying to like monopoly. So they're going to have to break it up, and they may have to sell WhatsApp and other sub companies that they own, just to maintain their operations and keep going.
Facebook is eating.
Facebook is eating, but the way it's eaten, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And then now they're looking at Amazon as well, because Amazon's not really a monopoly, but the way they're operating and at the pace that they're growing, it's becoming way too big, way too quick. And for competition rules, they really need to just break it into small pieces and allow them to be what other companies should allow them to be.
For sure.
So it's very interesting to see.
Tech wars, man. It's going to be interesting.
The future is now.
That was the last topic, lads. Thank you for everybody for listening. Subscribe,
like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Drop us a review and that. You get me?
Please.
All right, man. Until next time.